This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin' is your boy. And thank you for being here with me, ladies and gentlemen, on a Sunday morning before football begins. We're going to talk a little bit about the New York Knicks Day 4 training camp. Just some news from training camp. It's not going to be a super long show because I want you to be able to get to your football games and all of that. But we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about it. I got Nate with me. Andy will be joining me shortly. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing popping, ladies and gentlemen. Talk some New York Knicks basketball because training camp, ladies and gentlemen, not training camp. Training camp is here. But preseason is just around the corner. All right, so let's go ahead and get these guys in the building, get this thing on and popping. Nate, Andy, what's going on with you guys? For Andy, it's the evening. For Nate, it's this morning. What's happening? How you guys feeling?
Good, man.
Yo, what up? What up, Sam? What up, Nate?
What's going on with you,
What's up,
man?
Andy?
Took a little bit of a break the last couple of days. Just because I just needed some rest. So it took a little bit of a break. But now I'm back in the building, and we're going to break down what we've heard over the last couple of days. And I think today, one of the focus is going to be on 3-point shooting. Right? Tom Thibodeau was asked a lot about 3-point shooting. Evan Fournier was asked about 3-point shooting. And, during the summer league, it became evident to me that the New York Knicks are going to launch threes. They're going to launch threes. As a matter of fact, guys, when we broke down their offensive and defensive principles, number seven is threes. And that's all it says. It just says threes. Clearly, the Knicks want to shoot threes. They want to play with pace. They want space. They want to attack the rim. When you're talking about playing with pace, playing with space, we're talking about opening up the floor for 3-point shooting. All right? But we're going to get to that. It's going to be a little bit later on in the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're first going to, we're going to get to it right now. We'll jump right into it. We're going to listen to Tom Thibodeau talk about 3-point shooting and how he plans or how he wants the team to attack the three and shoot the three. What kind of threes he wants to shoot. All right, so let's get it popping, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom Thibodeau on shooting threes.
Thanks.
Yeah. He talked about when you get it up to like 30.
Actually, that's not Tom Thibodeau on shooting threes.
What is your guys'
That's somebody asking a question, but here we go.
Well, the same thing. We want the right threes, and I thought that our percentage was a reflection of taking the right ones. I don't want to take random ones where we don't have floor balance and we can't get back. And so to get the defense to collapse or attack it before it's set where we have a numerical advantage, but to take the right ones. And so try to get away from the long two. And for the most part, I think we've done that. And now we got more guys that can go off the dribble, and I think we can create those shots. And so when we get the penetration and you get the defense to collapse, you got to make the right rim read. And then when you're in there, if the second defender comes, spray it out. hit the open man, trust each other, and sometimes it's drive, pass. And if we do that, we're going to get a good look.
Is there a particular type of long two that you feel
Pardon?
like is there a particular type of long two you feel like you want to eliminate?
Yeah, more so early in the clock. Like sometimes it's the shot. And I think you see it. I think the floaters probably become more of the mid-range shot now. And obviously we have a couple guys that are great at it. Derek is really good at the floater, and so is Quick. The thing I like about the floater versus the mid-range, it also gives you a pretty good chance of getting the second shot. And oftentimes that could lead to the three as well.
All right. So there you go. That's what he wants. Good threes, smart threes that are going to allow you to get back on defense. Because obviously, when you shoot threes, there's normally long rebounds. And it can lead to easy, fast breaks for the opposing team. Right? A missed three, long missed three. Sometimes it's like an outlet pass for the opposing team. So Tom Thibodeau wants to be smart about the three-pointers he's taking. But I feel like this team is going to launch threes. Let me read off some numbers to you. In Summer League, versus the Raptors, 40 attempts. They shot 17.5% from the field. Versus the Pacers, they had 32 attempts, pretty much close to what they did last season. They shot 43.8% from the field. Against the Lakers, they had 35 attempts. They shot 40%. Against Detroit, they had 32 attempts. They shot 28.1%. And then versus Cleveland, they had 37 attempts. They shot 54%. And then versus Atlanta, they had 47 attempts, and they shot 44.7% from the field. All right, three of those games were pretty high, 40, 37, 47. Okay, but it was clear to me that in those last two games, the coaching staff said, shoot the three, launch it. And when you look at the squad that we have now, Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker, those, both of those guys can shoot the three. And then you have, obviously, Emmanuel Quickly, Alec Burks off the bench. Derrick Rose was shooting the three well last season. He's not just going to launch it crazy, but he'll shoot it, and he's been knocking it down. At least he did for us last season. Quentin Grimes, Miles McBride, rookies, they can knock it down. Obi Toppin was shooting threes during Summer League, and he looks like he's shooting them better. R.J. Barrett shot 40%. Julius Randle shot 41%. 42%, whatever it was. And Nerlens Noel has been asked to spread his game out. And we can only assume that Mitchell Robinson has been asked to do the same thing. Andy, what are your thoughts, man? Are you looking forward to seeing the Knicks play this style of basketball?
Yes, and it's like always. Listen, a good shot, a good open three is always good. I'd rather take that kind of a shot than a contested two or a two in traffic and stuff like that. But Sim, I just wanted to break some news. The Knicks just waived Luca Vildoza. So Knox doesn't have competition for that last roster spot. And what more? Listen, like I said, Tibbs likes to play the basketball game the good way. So not contested shots, open shots are available, just take them. But contested shots are going to be bad shots, and that's why I was surprised last season about those quickly shots. Fans love them because they were going out, in, but those weren't good shots.
Yeah. And Nate, I'm gonna let you get in here real quick, and then we'll talk a little bit about Luca Vildoza. Then we'll come back to it. All right. Just your thoughts quickly, really quick.
Yeah, it's the greatest equalizer in the NBA, and that's the way the game's going. I'm sorry. And honestly, the Knicks shot a high percentage, so why not shoot more threes?
Well, shooting a high percentage, listen, I can shoot 10 free throws and make 8, and I'm 8 out of 10. But once that gets up to 50, my percentage may drop.
But they feel that could be a strength of the team. If they're shooting a good percentage, then hopefully with more temps, they're still going to shoot around that same or a little bit less.
Okay. Hopefully. I with this team, with this particular team, I think that they will. Right? Because of, the players that we have on the team. Right? So,
Great.
I'm not really that worried about them shooting threes and I know they're going to shoot threes. I'm not worried about if they can make them. I know that they're going to make them. Anyway, let's get into the story about the Knicks waiving Luca Vildoza. And it was released on the Knicks PR page on Twitter at 11:45. The Knicks waived Luca Vildoza. As we know, Luca Vildoza is 6'3", 190 pounds. He was originally signed on May 6th. After spending 4 seasons in the EuroLeague, the Argentinian guard appeared in 2 Summer League games for the New York Knicks in Las Vegas. He's gone. He's out of there. I expected the Knicks to waive Luca Vildoza. Tom Thibodeau was asked the other day about Luca and whether or not he's ready. And, he just kind of shook his head and said no, and dropped his head a little bit. But I think this was expected, that Luca Vildoza was going to be waived. It is my thought that Jericho Sims is going to take that spot. That's my thought process. I think Jericho Sims is probably going to take that spot. I'm not trying to wish anything bad on Mitchell Robinson, but if Mitchell Robinson is not healthy to start the season, we're going to need a third center on the team. Because that means Nerlens Noel is going to be elevated to a starting spot. Taj Gibson will be backing him up, and you're going to need a third guy. And that situational lineup, to me, it evens it out. I talked about this weeks ago that I thought Luka was going to be waived and Jericho Sims was going to take that spot. This may be the start of that process. Andy, any thoughts behind it?
Yes, and listen, we said it before, like you said weeks ago. Listen, Luca Vildoza still is a winner here. He got bought out of his contract in Europe. He got paid. He paid off that contract, the buyout contract that he had in the European one. So he's even out, even that he thought he got that unguaranteed money, not available for him. But he has a choice now. He can pick the clubs in Europe. And believe me, he's going to have offers probably going to be signed by next week. And it's going to be several teams that's going to be looking at him. So now he can pick not only, from 1 or 2 teams, he can pick any EuroLeague team basically that needs a guard.
Right. So you don't think that he'll be, you think he's going to be in the EuroLeague. You don't think he'll be in the NBA?
Yeah. Listen, if the Knicks buy them out, paid up the money, and they didn't keep him, I don't think he's going to get another chance on a team in the NBA. Maybe in some kind of a Houston team, but I don't think he's going to be satisfied with a not known role for him instead of going back to the Europe and be one of the stars of the team.
Okay. Nate, any thoughts?
It's not surprising. He's been hurt. I believe when we drafted McBride, it pretty much spelled the end for Luca Vildoza, and he really didn't play well in the summer league. So, Tibbs wanted McBride. So I feel that was the better option. As far as Sims, I'll be honest with you. If Sims does make the active roster, it's going to make it on Mitch.
It's going to make it what on Mitch?
Well, it's not going to spell good news for Mitch. That means because he's not ready and injuries still lingering, and they're going to have to rely on Sims and Noel. But I honestly would start. Sorry, Sim. This is really bad echo in my ear. It's really throwing me off. I would like to see Sims in the G League because I feel like he'll get more time to play.
Well, I mean, and Nate, you may need to go into the settings and turn off the echo or turn on the echo cancellation. You probably have it turned off. You know,
Yeah, I'll
but
check that
I
out.
mean, I think I don't know. Well, as far as Luca Vildoza playing for any other team, I don't know. There may, maybe there's a team that craves having one of those Euro League guards. You know what I mean? Um, you see him all the time. You see Denver.
San Antonio.
San Antonio. Those kind of teams. A lot of times, they value having those guards because they're tough. They play hard basketball. They understand how to play the game of basketball. You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. We didn't get to see much of Luca Vildoza, but by any means, Luca Vildoza has been waived, ladies and gentlemen, and he will not play for the New York Knicks. And I expect that Jericho Sims is probably going to take that spot and will become a permanent member of the team. And all the Knicks have to do is terminate his
Two-way deal.
two-way deal, right? Terminate the two-way deal. Sign him to a contract. It would be, it's not going to be an expensive contract. As a matter of fact, they could sign him to Luca Vildoza's contract. They can guarantee this year and then give him maybe a couple of years or a year, that year or two that's non-guaranteed. Who knows? Who knows? But then they'll be opening up two-way contracts that they can use. So we will see how that plays out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how that plays out. Again,
Sim, in my
go ahead.
consideration, I think the Knicks are gonna keep Sims on a 2 year. Oh, sorry, on a two-way
Okay.
deal, and because they have like that time period, right? That they can keep him on a two-way
Right.
and keep the open roster spot. Maybe someone interesting is gonna get cut after training camp or preseason,
Okay.
so they might leave that way. And after the two-way expires, they can just then sign Jericho Sims to a longer deal,
That's true.
converted to a regular deal. So it would be rather smart for them just to keep that slot open in
Okay.
case something happens, and then just terminate. Why do it right away, and then you can only sign a guy to a two-way contract?
That's true.
Meanwhile, you don't know, maybe the Lakers gonna blow up or whatever, and a good vet is gonna be on the free market, right? Free agent market. So
Yeah, I didn't think about it that way. You're probably right. You're probably right. Because he
or
can
they
play.
have even someone on their eye right now. So
Right, because he can play a certain number of games with the Knicks anyway, right? So he might as well play those number of games, and then they can make a decision later on. Do you think, what's his name, Dwayne Bacon, do you think he has a chance of making the roster? Now,
to be true, probably no. I think he's a training camp body. And I think, we got the guard rotation settled even as the third string guys. So I think, like you said, the spot is basically covered, for Jericho Sims. But, they're going to wait up till they need to convert that deal to make it official.
okay, all right. Interesting stuff going on here in training camp, and interesting that it's happening here on a Sunday, instead of, during the week. The Knicks like to do stuff like that. Wait until it's a weekend, and when there's not a lot of media traffic going on. But of course, in today's world with Twitter and all that kind of stuff is going to get around anyway. There's going to be a lot of discussion about it.
Yeah, they might have been waiting for us to pop online. That's
maybe
why
they
they
did.
Released it.
Right,
So.
maybe they did. Wait for us to jump online. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, the New York Knicks have waived Luca Vildoza. They've waived Luca Vildoza, and this report that you see on the screen is from the New York Knicks PR department. It says the New York Knicks announced today that the team has waived guard Luca Vildoza. Vildoza is 6'3", 190 pounds. He was originally signed on May 6th after spending 4 seasons in the EuroLeague. The Argentinian guard appeared in 2 Summer League games for New York and Las Vegas. He didn't get a chance to play that much, played a little bit, wasn't exactly impressive. Of course, he was, just coming back from the Olympics. But he's been hurt the entire training camp. Did not get a chance to perform for Tom Thibodeau or the coaching staff. He's now waived. I think eventually Jericho Sims gets that spot. But Andy has the point that they'll probably keep Jericho Sims as a 2-way contract, leave that roster spot open in the event that something happens, a trade can take place, or some player comes available, or something happens, and they can use that roster spot, which makes a lot of sense because I believe Jericho Sims can play like 40-something games with the New York Knicks before you have to make a decision about him. So, he can still be with the team. So that makes sense. I think Andy is right in that aspect. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Luca Vildoza is no longer with the New York Knicks. All right, let's get back to the discussion that we were having about 3-point shooting. And Luca Vildoza was a guy that we thought might have added to that 3-point shooting. Obviously, now he's not adding to that 3-point shooting because he's no longer with the team. Evan Fournier was asked about 3-point shooting, right? Because Derrick Rose told the media that the Knicks might be shooting 37 to 43s a game. Now, if Summer League is any indication, he may be right, Andy. He may be right. We just looked at the numbers for Summer League, and I'm going to go over them one more time, just so that we have those numbers, and you keep this in mind while we are listening to Evan Fournier talk. But in Summer League, versus the Raptors, the Knicks had 40 attempts. They shot 17.5%. Versus the Pacers, they had 32 attempts. They shot 43.8%. 32 attempts is around what the Knicks averaged last season. Versus the Lakers, they shot 35 attempts. They shot 40% from the field. Versus Detroit, they shot 32 attempts. They shot 28% from the field. Then versus Cleveland, they shot 37 attempts. And they shot 54% from the field. And then versus Atlanta, they shot 47 attempts. And they shot 44.7% from the field. If you average that out, it's probably around 37, something like that. All right, but a lot of attempts. And Evan Fournier was asked about, his role in shooting that many attempts, and if he's going to be out there launching up threes. This is Evan Fournier, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a listen.
Honestly, I'm not a big numbers guy at all. I think you take what the defense gives you, and I like shooting threes, so I guess it's good for me. That mentality is good for me. But I think it's about playing the right way, taking good shots, and maybe us just adding shooters this year is going to help. But I don't know, man. To be honest, I'm not entering the game thinking about, we have to shoot 43s. I'm just going to take what's in front of me.
Have you warned any Knicks fans not to Google you yet?
Not yet. I really like the Knicks fans so far, so I don't want to do that to them.
All right. Let's stop that right there. Don't go Google Evan Fournier or Fournier. Don't go Google it. Just don't do it. But you heard what Evan Fournier said. For him, it's about, taking the shot that's given to him, which is the smart way to play basketball. And it seems like that's what Tom Thibodeau wants to do anyway, right? He wants to take good shots. He doesn't want to just launch threes all willy-nilly. Wants to take good shots. How much do you think? I mean, I don't know. What did he average last year? About 7 attempts a game? something like that. Evan Fournier, he's going to add that to the
Yeah.
offense. What's your thought process, Andy? I don't know if we got it because we kind of stopped and started talking about Luca Vildoza. What is your thought process on the Knicks shooting so many attempts, 40 attempts?
Yes, and listen, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to be like that. Like Tibbs's target is going to be like 40 shots, right? Approximately. It's not going to be like, listen, guys, it's a minute till the end of the first quarter. We're not, even close to the 10 shots, from three per quarter. So you just got to go and these three next plays, you got to take a three. It's not going to be like that. And there are going to be certainly defenses that defend the perimeter, and it's going to be harder to get those threes. And they're going to be teams that clog the paint, and then the 3-point shot is going to be open. So as far as it's going to be a good shot in rhythm and an open shot, I think they're going to take it. And even we might see games even that they take 50 shots. But as long as it's going to be open shots, I'm cool with it. But I don't envision Tibbs calling a timeout and tell him, listen, guys, we got 6 threes only. We got like 2 possessions left in the quarter. We gotta go 6 or 7 seconds on offense and just take a three just to be on pace for the 43s. And listen, I loved what Evan Fournier said. He's clearly a European player. He wants to play smart basketball, the good way how you play basketball, and don't chuck shots, play team ball. So I'm happy with what he said.
Yeah, I'm happy with what he said as well. I want to hear some more from Evan Fournier. We're going to get back to Evan Fournier, but I want to move into some of the things that Tom Thibodeau said, about defense, Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride being ready to play defensively. What does Evan give you that Reggie Bullock doesn't give you? And we'll talk about the Knicks improving offensively. First, let's get to, since we're talking about Evan Fournier, let's get to what Tom Thibodeau thinks about what Evan Fournier gives you instead of Reggie Bullock. And I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. He was kind of non-committal on what he was saying. I don't want to say non-committal, but kind of avoided it. But here we go. This is Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of, like you're preparing for the next season because you don't know what free agency brings. And you realize, okay, guys had really good seasons last year. So you have to prepare for, obviously you're trying to bring guys back that you felt fit you well, but you also understand you could be losing guys along the way. So you have to have a plan for that as well. And so we were looking for experience, shooting, off the dribble. I think when you look at the playoffs today, it's not just 3 and D. It's also the ability to go off the dribble. So we're looking at a number of guys. As I said, we felt fortunate we were able to keep the guys that we were able to keep because of the type of year that they all had last year, and they were all equally important to the team. And that's why I love last year's team just because of how unselfish they were as a group and how they worked together and played for each other. But last year was last year. This is this year. You understand that part of the NBA is the free agency piece where you could lose players. And so you try to make the best decisions that you can. You put a lot of work into it, and hopefully it works out.
All right. I mean, hopefully it works out. I think it will work out. Listen, Evan Fournier is just a better player than Reggie Bullock, without a doubt. We've talked a lot about the defensive side of the ball and whether or not losing Reggie Bullock is going to impact the defense that much. But, Andy, what do you expect to see from Evan Fournier defensively?
Listen, Evan Fournier is a quality defender. Like we know, Tibbs loves to defend as a team, not as a personal, individually, lockdown guy. Which Reggie Bullock seemed to be playing that guy, that role last season. but it was still mostly a team defense. And I think that the management realized that we lacked scoring versus the our opponents, so they rather tweak the team on the offensive end a little bit more than on the defense. And I think the defense principles are already set. So these guys as vets just have to pop in here and just stay in line with the whole team defense. So I think it's the drop off is not going to be as big as fans think.
I hope
And
not.
definitely the offense is going to make up for Reggie Bullock's lack of anything else, just shooting.
Right. You heard Tom Thibodeau talk about his ability to put the ball on the floor, and I think that's a big part of why you see Evan Fournier here and Reggie Bullock not here. I did think Reggie Bullock was going to come back instead of Alec Burks. I thought that Reggie Bullock fit that second unit better than Alec Burks because you got ball handlers like Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose. Alec Burks is another ball stopper. He's another ball stopper, in my opinion. I like him. He's good. He's cool. I thought Reggie Bullock fit that second unit better. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to contribute. He can come off screens and knock it down. I'm not saying Alec Burks can't do that, but Alec Burks likes to create with the ball in his hands. Reggie Bullock doesn't, like you just alluded to, Andy. He can come off screens and knock it down. He can stand and shoot. Right? Wait for the kick out and knock it down. And obviously he can play defense. He's a better defender than Alec Burks. I guess the team likes Alec Burks because he can sometimes play that point guard spot, that backup point guard spot, and knowing the history of Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker, it's good to have him there in case as an insurance policy. But I thought Reggie Bullock fit that bill better. Nate?
Yeah, for me, I feel that you need a shooter like Bullock on the bench, and Burks is more of a guy can get you buckets. And I think that was the reason why they kept Burks over Bullocks.
I mean, yeah. I mean that's why. That's definitely why. But I just feel like Reggie Bullock fit that spot better. Clearly the Knicks did not, and they wanted to have Alec Burks there. We don't know everything that goes behind it, and maybe they didn't want to pay Reggie Bullock what he was asking for. You don't know all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. But I did think that Reggie Bullock fit that spot better. I want to go back to Tom Thibodeau and listen to him talk about improving the offense, right? Because clearly we have a better offense. All right, this is Tom Thibodeau.
Kemba, some of what you added can be a better offensive team, potential-wise.
Well, and obviously you want to improve on both sides of the ball, and I think the fact that, like when you look at Quentin, I think he took almost 800 threes last year, or over his career. And so he has a shot profile that we feel is good for us. And then Quentin shows that he can shoot the three. So I think that's when Kemba's shot a lot of threes, and when he came into the league, he wasn't that. He became that. And Evan is obviously a good three-point shooter, but we have to be strong on both sides of the ball. We have to be strong defensively, and we got to be better offensively.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. For the most part, he just tells you what what we want to do. We want to be better offensively and still continue to be strong defensively. Can we do that? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. My man Cornerstone Kev is in the building. Calling in.
Okay. You okay, Kev?
Calling in from the hospital. Kev, I'm concerned. Are you all right? What's going on?
Hey, man, it's going to take more than can't even call it right now. But I can't let talk about my Knicks, man.
Hey,
That's
man.
Gotta
dedicated right
talk about
there.
it.
Okay. Well, hopefully, man. I guess we could talk about it off the air. Hopefully, you're fine. Hopefully, you're good.
Yeah.
Everybody in the
Absolutely.
Knicks universe is going to be praying for you and wishing nothing but the best.
Get better, man.
Wishing
Absolutely.
nothing but the best for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, we've been talking about a few things here, right? We talked about the Knicks and their 3-point shooting and, that being a bigger weapon for them this season. We talked about Luca Vildoza being waived. We were just talking about the Knicks improving their offense. Tom Thibodeau was talking about the Knicks improving their offense. All right.
Well, I'll
And
tell you,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
just real quick about Luca Vildoza waving. That was a little bit of a shock because I I thought
Yeah,
that
I know.
he was gonna
Yeah,
be.
you thought he was a cornerstone. You thought he was a
Yeah, I
cornerstone.
actually did.
You did. You thought it was a cornerstone, Kev. Don't even try. You were all all during the off season. Oh, you want all these point guards? What about Luca? I think Luca's the guy. I think Luca's gonna be the one. He's gonna surprise us all. Da 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 da. Yeah,
I'll take some ketchup and mustard for
yeah.
that
You're
crow.
gonna have to take it. You're gonna have to take it.
But the thing about it also is that I think that we're set for that possession right now. With us drafting Deuce, even though I know Deuce is not going to get the run that that you expected. I think Kimba and Derek are going to be great for us.
Well, hopefully, as long as they stay healthy, as long as they stay healthy.
Right. But the thing
It,
about it, right, if with us drafting Deuce, that's a little bit of an insurance because I think that he's really, really, really good.
he is, he is. And speaking of Deuce McBride, ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday we're gonna have his former high school coach with us. We're gonna interview his coach, learn a little bit about Deuce. What he was like in high school. Talk about his character. Talk about his ability to play point guard in the NBA. What he expects from Deuce McBride as a New York Knick in his rookie season. That's going to be a really good interview Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Give or take a few minutes. He is a high school coach, so things could vary. But around that time, look for the notification. Yeah, that's going to be a pretty good interview. It's going to be fun. I spoke to him already briefly, and he said he's got a lot of stories to tell us about Deuce McBride.
And let
So
me
that's going to be
ask
great.
everybody here, what is it about Deuce that you like so much about?
Well, I tell you what, I like his poise. He seems to be very poised. Obviously, I like his defense, and he seems like a guy that is confident. He's confident in what he can do.
He plays angry.
That's what I like about him. Andy, anything you want to add there with what you like about Deuce? And then I want to get to Tom Thibodeau talking about the rookies.
Yeah, listen, I'm not gonna say that I like him. I just love the dude. After Frank, he's my next, pupil. I just love his way that he plays. He's so young and he plays so savvy as a like a vet.
Yeah,
He's what we
like a
wanted in
Like he
Frank.
would be playing in the in the NBA 10 years. He knows where to pick his shots. He's not gonna be chucking up them, and the defense. What else you want from a rookie?
yeah, yeah, yeah. No doubt about it. Well, this is Tom Thibodeau
Take that.
talking about Deuce McBride and Quentin Grimes and what he likes from his rookies.
Out, and that's what I like about he and Quentin. I think both have a defensive component to them, and so obviously you have to learn the NBA game, and you got to learn the players, and then you got to learn our players and our system. So that it takes time, but I love how they compete. I think their toughness, their competitiveness, their basketball IQ, they're sponges. They're in here all the time. They're picking up things. Our veterans have done a great job with them. So we'll find out. But I'm confident when they do get their opportunity that they will play well.
You used Frank a lot last year for like one defensive stop, one possession, Do you have
Yeah.
somebody that you see that could be
Well,
that?
we'll see. Like you look at your team and you try to analyze what the strengths and weaknesses of every player are, and then you try to plug those in as whatever your team needs in order to win. That's what you're trying to take advantage of. And we have a number of players that do a lot of different things well. We put the team first, so we're asking guys to sacrifice. So whatever we need, we feel we have the answer on the bench.
Fournier was available during the trade deadline last season. Was he somebody you guys looked at?
Yeah, well, I know Leon and his staff, they're always evaluating the opportunities, and that's what, a part of their, big part of what their job is.
Okay, we're gonna stop that right there. They started talking about Fournier a little bit. We don't want to talk about Fournier. We want to keep this to the rookies. Um, the
And
defensive,
respect.
the defensive acumen of both of those players is what Tom Thibodeau respects about them, and one of the reasons why, if they don't get a lot of playing time this season, at some point they're going to be guys who make a difference for this team. Now, the one thing I will say is, just about every player last year who was part of that 15-man rotation played a role in the Knicks having success. And I'm talking about playing important minutes too. And I don't expect anything different. You know what I mean? I expect that they're still going to have, those guys, they might not play a lot of minutes, but there's going to become a time when Kemba's out or Rose is out or maybe both is out. McBride is going to have to play where Burks is out, right? Evan Fournier is maybe resting or something like that. And Quentin Grimes is going to have to play. So, yeah, those guys, those guys will get a chance. Yeah, go ahead, Kev.
Right. Real quick, if he's going to play those guys in certain sections of the game, like he's got to give them more than just a minute or so. In other words, he can't put him in a position to fail.
I mean,
That's all.
the thing is, Kev, you can't play all 15 guys in a game. It can't
Understood.
happen.
But you also got to give them time to warm up as well. You just can't throw them in there. You know what I'm saying?
But sometimes, I get it, and I don't think he's going to throw them in, with 2 minutes left in the game and expect them to get a stop, right?
Right.
But when you're a rookie and you're playing behind Kemba Walker, Derrick Rose,
Yeah.
you're going to take whatever you can get. And if the coach says, you got the last 40 seconds of this half, you better get out there and bust your ass for the last 40 seconds of the half.
I agree. Yeah, you're right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think also Tibbs kind of gave a little hint that if we put them on the floor, they sure as hell better play defense. I think that's how they're going to get minutes. Period.
Yeah. Well, the thing that they did with these guys is, they didn't go out and get guys that they say we're going to hope that they buy into the system. They went out and got guys that already believe in the system. That's the way that I always believe you build a team. You don't get guys that you say, well, we got to get them to buy into what Coach Tibbs is teaching or the principles that he has in place. No, you go get guys that already has those principles. So I don't think they're worried about them guys playing defense on the floor because they have that already, right? So when you want something, you go get guys that represent or have the principles that you want to play with. Now you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it because they already have it. Now you can go on and you can teach other things, right? But let's listen to Quentin Grimes, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we haven't had a chance to hear from Quentin Grimes yet, so we're going to get to Quentin Grimes and listen to the entire interview. Let's do it.
I guess just kind of a weekend, what's it been like for you, this transition, different than summer league, camp and stuff?
Yeah, definitely a lot different than summer league when you walk in the gym and you got Julius Randle, Derrick Rose, and Kemba Walker. You're going up against those guys, but I'm just taking it one day at a time and just trying to learn as much as I can.
Quentin was saying the other day that Derrick and Kemba have been very in his ear, telling him the right things to do and stuff. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're great vets. They're guys that obviously I have to look up to as a guard. So I'm just, like I said, taking it one day at a time and learning as much as I can from them.
Sorry. What is something they've helped you on?
Really just reading the game. In college, I didn't run as many pick and rolls, so trying to learn that. Their pace coming off is a lot different. Obviously, Derek's a little bit more explosive than Kemba, and Kemba likes to use, angles a lot more. So just learning kind of two different games and trying to mash it into one.
What's it been like for you? You touched on it a little bit, but what's it been like for you just competing against NBA players every day?
Dream come true, honestly. It's everything I've wanted. I've worked so hard to get here, and then, to be in the gym with these guys that, I've earned their respect. It's the same thing I'm trying to do, earn my respect in this league, on this team first, and then, throughout the league.
You mentioned those guys, and you got a former MVP, All-Star, and you were competing with them for minutes. Do you kind of see a role of where you can get in right away defense? Maybe the spot that you say, I can do this right now?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like my defense is something I can always lean on, and then offensively I can make shots. So I think defense is going to be the first thing that can get me on the floor. And like I said, just continue to learn from them and hopefully see my minutes increase.
Is there a plan, for you, whether it's to gain weight, to lose weight? What's the plan for you physically?
I think really just to maintain. It's a long season, and you don't want to see a lot of highs and lows. You just want to stay consistent as much as I can.
Has that been different, like with your diet? Like I know they're very regimented at the NBA level. Has that changed at all?
Not too much. I've always been pretty solid with it.
They had last year quickly kind of came in, I think maybe more than people have expected, down the roll right away. Do you kind of look at that, or did Tom say anything to you about that minutes are earned and you could do more than you think right away?
Well, I always have my expectations up very high. I know the work I put into my game, and obviously this is a higher level, so I'm gonna, everybody's gonna take time to learn, and it's just different. So I can definitely see me exceeding expectations, and I think that's what a coach would want for his players. So.
How's it feel like to play your first game at the Garden in just 3 days?
I've actually already played at the Garden,
Okay.
so. And as a Knick, though, I'm very excited. I think the fans are really hungry for a team that's gonna, be able to represent New York very well.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Same time tomorrow. Thanks, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Miles McBride. I'm gonna tell you what I really like that he said that I heard. He talked about Derrick Rose and him being a little bit more explosive than Kemba Walker. But then he talked about Kemba Walker and how Kemba Walker likes to use angles. Right? To me, that's a guy who's very observative and is soaking in information from both of those players. That's a high IQ guy. He gets it. He understands it. And I have no doubt on my mind that he's going to be able to apply those things to his game. Being explosive is, something that may not be, maybe a little bit more natural to a player. Right? You have natural explosion. He's either going to have that or not. He can develop some more explosion if he doesn't have it now. But angles, that's not something that you always have
Hear from a
naturally.
rookie.
Yeah, that's not something you hear from a rookie. Exactly. But angles, that's something that you can learn. You can learn how to take advantage of angles, how to utilize angles to get to your spots on the floor. Right? That's not something that's natural. The explosion,
Guys, I gotta go.
Okay. All right, Kev. Get better. Hey, but I'm gonna tell you what. Don't think that because you're in the hospital, we're gonna take it easy on you when you call in. It's not happening. Still coming at
Yes,
you.
sir. I got
Yeah,
it. I got it. Love
Kev,
y'all.
sorry that
Take
the
care.
Vildoza waving, got you chest pains, bro.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Hey,
Andy. We'll talk later.
get well, Kev. Get well. Please get well.
All right, take care. All right, bye.
Take care, bud.
But yeah, you're right, Andy. You don't hear that from a rookie. and he can learn from Kemba on how to utilize those angles. The explosion
Sim,
part, I don't know.
he's a very cerebral point guard, and I think you can see why Tibbs is so high on him. Very high intelligent on the defensive end. That's why I truly believe that he is being groomed for the future point guard.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's a lot of competition. Obviously you got Kemba Rose, but you got Emmanuel quickly, and according to his high school coach, he can be the starting point guard. So that's going to be a battle. Andy, your thoughts, man, on what you heard from Miles
Yeah, listen,
McBride?
every word that came out of Miles McBride's, mouth was gold. He spoke like a vet, and I bet that he got those tips from both D Rose and Kemba. And like you said about the explosiveness, I think it's more about the explosiveness is tied to the physical abilities, right? If he has that jump in him, he might be more explosive. If he has that strength and height, he also might look more explosive, right? If he's smaller like Kemba, he can try to get up there, but he's not going to be dunking on centers, right? So it's a smart thing just to pull up for the open jumper, then just go into the crowd and tangle with those big bodies under the rim. So I rather see him play smarter than just gung ho and jump on people.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to everything that Miles McBride is going to bring to this team, ladies and gentlemen. And for those who are joining us on opening night, the Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes rookie cards just came in the mail yesterday. And I'm actually going to have one of each left over that I'll probably give away to somebody. We'll have a some kind of a contest and give those cards away. One of those cards may be worth something one day. You never know. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, guard Luca Vildoza has been waived by the New York Knicks. And this is from the Knicks PR department for immediate release. The New York Knicks announced today that the team has waived guard Luca Vildoza. Vildoza, 6'3", 190 pounds, was originally signed on May 6th after spending 4 seasons in the EuroLeague. The Argentinian guard appeared in 2 Summer League games for New York and Las Vegas. And Andy, we're going to do this again for those who are just joining us. Any thoughts on Luca Vildoza being waived?
Yeah, first thing, Sim, I think the team might be thinking that they need more depth on the center position. That's why they're making roster spot basically for Jericho Sims. Meanwhile, since he is on the two-way deal, I think they're gonna wait till the two-way has to be is going to have to be converted to a regular contract. Then they're gonna do it. And like we were talking a couple of minutes ago, an idea popped in my mind. They didn't have to actually waive Luca Vildoza today. They could have waited like before the contract gets guaranteed, and I think the contract gets guaranteed like a day before the season starts. So that ankle injury might be something worse than they predicted, and maybe he's gonna need surgery, and it's gonna be like a little bit longer out. That's why they might have kept him out, keep that roster spot open, maybe let him use the Knicks doctor facilities and hospital. They got these good doctors on the knees, so maybe they're gonna let him operate that ankle, and they're gonna set him free.
So you think it's going to eventually be Jericho Sims that takes the spot? I think it's going to be Jericho Sims
Yeah.
as well. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I thought Luca Vildoza would be waived for Jericho Sims. That situational lineup to me is much more concise with Jericho Sims in the lineup rather than Luca Vildoza, because now you'll have Miles McBride at the point guard spot, Quentin Grimes at the shooting guard spot, Kevin Knox at the 3, Taj Gibson at the 4, and then Jericho Sims at the 5. To me, that's a much more clear-cut lineup without duplication in roles. for that situational lineup.
Not to mention, that we have Mitch out at this point. And if the depth was supposed to be Netherlands Taj, then maybe we could find minutes for Sims. Taj may not be ready to play 20 minutes or like 16, 17, whatever the Netherlands needs to sit on the bench, right? There's going to be games that both might be in foul trouble,
right?
So you're going to have to use a big body,
right.
I truly,
Go ahead, Nate.
I truly also believe that if Mitch was healthy, then it would probably be Bacon that gets that last roster spot because he's a vet and he's a good defender. The Knicks obviously saw something when they brought him in. But since Mitch is not healthy and not ready, then yes, Sims makes sense.
See, I don't know. I kind of agree with Andy when he says that Dwayne Bacon is basically a training camp guy on the team simply to beat up your regular 15-man roster, play some tough defense, make them work hard.
I can play.
Like, I mean, he can. He's been a starter in this league. There's no doubt about it. He's been a starter. Maybe he does have a chance to take that spot because he has been a starter in this league. Now, the Knicks want to shoot threes. We've been talking about that for the entire stream. He doesn't shoot threes well. We have a lot of wing players: Fournier, Alec Burks, R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Kevin Knox. To me, it just clutters it up. If you bring on Dwayne Bacon, it just clutters it up.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel that Bacon's a better wing defender than Grimes and Burks?
I don't know.
I say yes.
I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. We haven't seen what Grimes can do in the NBA. Burks, probably so. I think he's probably Dwayne Bacon is a better wing defender than Burks. But let's be honest. How much playing time is Dwayne Bacon going to get?
Unless it's an injury, probably not.
Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. So, Jericho Sims just makes more sense.
But I could actually see if he made the active roster starting over Grimes or getting more minutes over Grimes because he's a vet. And Tibbs is very hesitant about his rookies.
Yeah. I tell you what, the Knicks now have 19 roster spots. That last official roster spot, that 15th roster spot, which Luca Vildoza did hold because he had a non-guaranteed contract, he's waived. So now that spot is available. There's going to be a battle for that spot in training camp, which I love. I love that they're creating that type of competition.
Oh, yeah, opportunity, camp. Right?
Yeah, and opportunity. Because now, they can choose not to fill it and leave it open so that they can, make room for trades or whatever if one comes available. But these guys can battle. They can battle it out. Jericho Sims, Dwayne Bacon, MJ Walker, right? All of these guys can battle it out and say, hey, I want to try to get this last spot. Forget about the two-way. I want this last spot. So we'll see what happens there, ladies and gentlemen. Again, the Knicks waive Luca Vildoza. We'll see what happens. I'm about to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to take a couple of phone calls. It's 12:45, and I know people are ready to go watch the Giants. Hopefully the Giants can do something. We've been getting smacked around so far this season. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about it that much, but we've been getting smacked around. It's been embarrassing, and it's been frustrating for me. Because we don't look good. And I pull Evan Fournier up, and he's smiling at me, looking at me. He's looking right in my eyes, laughing at me because the Giants are getting bust.
Do you think Joe Judge is the right coach?
I don't know, man. We've got to see. We got to see what happens. Right now, the New York Giants make a lot of dumb mistakes, so they're not playing disciplined. And so far this season, that's been such a big part of their identity that they do not play disciplined football. So many penalties have brought back touchdowns, have allowed teams extra. I don't want to say possessions. I was about to say possessions. Well, I guess I'll say possessions. Extra possessions. You know, I mean, the Giants have them, you know, getting ready to go in the fourth down, and some kind of penalty gives them a first down. You know, offensive interference. You know, defensive interference, encroachment.
The good news, Sims, is that division is terrible. So you just never know.
Yeah, but so we'll see, man. Hopefully we can get this win today. We need it. We need it. We need to do something to get this win. 17 games in the NFL this season, by the way. 17 games. So it gives, you know, although the Giants haven't won a game, you know, it's still, you know, you say, well, you got that extra game. If they can somehow find a way to catch fire, who knows? But I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm not feeling confident right now. But, ladies and gentlemen, I got about 13 minutes before I'm going to get up out of here. You can call in 516-405-2246. Thank you for joining me on this Sunday. I appreciate you. I know a couple of things. I didn't expect that breaking news to come out, so that kind of, you know, threw my train of thought off. It was like, oh, snap, what happened? And he brought it up. We started talking about it. Then we had to double back and go back into the three-point shooting. You know, and it, you know, kind of had me a little bit all over the place, but I think we pulled it together and came out with a pretty good show. Fun show. So if you're not subscribed to this channel and you're new, please make sure you subscribe right now. Ring that notification bell so you'll be notified anytime that I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section. All right. In the meantime, while we're waiting for a phone call, another thing that I did want to listen to, and this will be the last thing we listen to, is Evan Fournier talking about Coach Tom Thibodeau and how he coaches, you know, and just the truthfulness that you get from Tom Thibodeau as a coach. So this is Evan Fournier, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a listen.
Exactly what I expected. A coach that's about working, a coach that's very intense, that tells you things how they are, keeps it real, and just wants to get better. And you know, I think he's very good at making sure you understand what he wants from you. It's very clear. You know, there's no gray area, and there's no place for misinterpretation. So, you know, as a player, especially a new guy, you know, it's easy because you know what to do. So it's been like that, and you know, there's obviously a lot more to work on, but so far so good, like I said.
And I think that right there is the key on what makes Tom Thibodeau so successful. He tells it like it is. He lets you know what he wants, what his expectations are, and that's it. You know, there's no beating around the bush, no second guessing. There's no gray area. It's like, this is what I want from you. This is what I need from you. This is what I expect for you to do. And when players have that type of clarity and understand their roles, it makes it a little bit easier to have success. Let me get to a phone call here. Caller, you're live. What's your name? Where you from?
What's up, fellas? It's Nick in Jersey City. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Nick? How you feeling?
Pretty good. I'm waiting for the Giants here, too. I just wanted to say something about that final roster spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would like to see them I would like Sims to make it, but I'm worried about that, the lack of defense at the wing position, losing Reggie Bullock. And I would like to see somebody come in there and take Knox's spot. I would like them to get rid of Knox for a couple of picks or whatever they could get for him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, future considerations, and go out and fill that spot either with Bacon or with somebody else who could, you know, in a pinch, come in and lock somebody down if somebody's hurt. You know, McBride, you know, if he's going to replace Frank in that role, that's great. But, you know, Frank had the ability to guard threes, and I don't see Thibodeau going out there with a lineup of, you know, Kemba Walker, IQ, and McBride. You know what I mean? We got to get a wingman who could lock people down, I think.
Okay. All right. And Dwayne Bacon could fit that bill. He has been a starter in the NBA. Maybe not on good teams. I think he started for the Charlotte Hornets for a spell, and he may have had some starts with the Orlando Magic. And he's had some games where he's scored some buckets.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What was it, 14 points a game or something like that? I mean, he's not a bad player. He can't shoot, but as your third, your third small forward, I think he's going to bring more to the team than Kevin Knox right now. I like, it's unfortunate that Knox's career went this way, but I feel like if he's just, why are they keeping him on the roster? What's the role for him? We need a guy who can play defense, and that's not Kevin Knox.
Yeah, well, okay. I do agree. We do need a wing defender that can come in and potentially lock some people down. So we'll see if that spot ends up going to Dwayne Bacon. And Andy, Nick, Nate, they could pick up Dwayne Bacon, right, and still have Jericho Sims in the two-way, and then waive him if you need to clear up a roster spot. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, a lot of things that they can do. Hey, Nick, I appreciate your time. Thank you, and let's go Giants, man.
I think you have to give Sims as much playing time as possible if he's not going to be on the active roster.
If he's not, if he's not going to be on it, that's the reason why he's a two-way player,
right?
So that he can go back and forth. He can play some on with the big boys, and then he can play on the JV.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But he needs to be playing. He doesn't need to be sitting on the bench. He needs to be playing.
Yeah, but you know what? Tom Thibodeau, well, if he's an active player, if he's on the 15-man roster, I feel like Tom Thibodeau is going to keep him with the squad. In some ways, I feel like Tom Thibodeau believes that these guys, because they scrimmage in practice, and obviously you need game time. There's no doubt about it. You got to get playing time. But when he was asked that question about Knox, he was asked about Frank. And there were two things. One, he thought that they could develop playing on the team and being in practice with NBA players. And then two, I think he likes having them there to make sure that they understand the schemes, they understand the game plan going into each game. So in the event that they have to play, they know what they're doing. So if he gets on that 15-man roster, I expect him to stay with the team. I do understand what you're saying, though, about him having to play and needing to play. But ladies and gentlemen, it's 12:53. I'm going to let you go ahead and, get your chips, pizza, beer, whatever it is that you got to do to get ready for the game. All right. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. I kind of like doing this on Sunday mornings, Andy. I'm not going to lie. I kind of like doing this on Sunday mornings before the football games begin.
Hey,
it might be
fills
something
the
that
gap.
I do.
It fills the gap for the football season.
It does.
It
fills the gap a little bit. I kind of like it. It might be something that I do a little more often. I don't know. I guess in the chat they'll tell me if they like doing it on Sunday mornings before the game starts or not. You guys let me know. Just put it in the chat. Is this something that you enjoy, something that you like?
Hey, you got two guys that like it.
You know,
Andy likes it. I like it.
Yeah. Obviously, if the Knicks are playing that night, I'm going to be doing a pregame show. But let me know in the chat. Again, remember, I will be back on tomorrow. Tuesday, the Knicks play their first preseason game. So we got it's going to be Tuesday is going to be stacked. I'll be doing a pregame show. I have a conversation with Miles McBride's high school coach at about 4:30. So make sure you join me there. And then, of course, we have the game. And then we have the post-game show. Tuesday is going to be all about the New York Knicks. It's going to be dope. Andy, any last words before we get out of here?
Yes, and I also like the Sunday morning shows. As you probably think, it's late, early evening for me, so I'm happy. I don't have to stay late. I don't have to wake up early for the show, so I'm happy to do it with you every Sunday.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I like doing it, man. It's cool. It's relaxed. People still sleeping. Brunch, stuff like
I
that.
get my Knicks talk before the Lions game.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
I'm good.
All right. Nate, any last words before we get out of here?
I'm excited for the season start.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate your time. Thank you for joining me this Sunday. Go watch the Giants or the Jets if you're a Jets fan. You know, you notice my voice noticeably dropped when I said that. But anyway, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Be peaceful. Have a great day.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.